Christopher Morel wrapped up his Dominican Winter League season. We're going to talk about that, what we saw there, and a little bit of other Cubs news. Not much going on, but you never know when that's going to change. Thanks for hanging out with us, though. We're glad that you're here with us on the Cubs Baseball channel. Make sure you like and subscribe, and give us a thumbs up if you like the Cubs. What do you say, everybody? Welcome to the Cubs Baseball channel here on YouTube. Make sure that you are part of what we're doing. Like, subscribe, give us a thumbs up. I'm Mick Gillespie, and don't forget on socials at Broadcaster Mick. All right, are you waiting for that big blockbuster move? It's not here yet. And I know some of you guys are getting pretty frustrated watching what the LA Dodgers are doing, comparing it to maybe the 2016 offseason where the Cubs made moves and kept getting better. 2015, 2016, that could happen. It's just taking time. And I know that it's so frustrating just because you want these deals to get done. And we're going to talk about the potential of those on the channel as the offseason progresses. One thing that did happen, though, that I thought was worth talking about was that Christopher Morel had his Dominican Winter League season finished, done. The Cubs basically put an end to it. It's their right as the holder of his contract to do that. And it is not anything to say, hey, they must be thinking about trading him or, something else. No, it's how it happens a lot. There was a game where he was in and he was out and then he played. And then I think that it was just time to wrap it up. And these are great opportunities. I remember back in the 80s, guys would come up, they would be like a Christopher Morel, play in the big leagues, and then they'd go to the winter leagues. And sometimes the winter leagues are tougher to hit in than the major leagues in a short amount of time, depending on what your weakness is, because, you go over there and everyone's a flamethrower. And that's something that you know when you play in the Dominican, that they're going to be throwing gas. And so it makes you a better hitter. And some leagues may be better with the breaking stuff. But Morel ended up, not a breakout winter league campaign. Kind of honestly, just to me getting by. He only hit .217. He had 3 home runs and 12 batted in. He also had 4 doubles. But you see a slash line there, and that's nothing spectacular. I think the question, though, we want to know about Morel is where he played. Remember at the beginning of this, Jed Hoyer kind of hinted that maybe first base would be a possibility for him. Well, the Cubs don't run these teams, and so they don't get to decide where he plays, right? And so here's the breakdown of the positions. Third base and shortstop. So 162 innings plus at third and 26 innings at shortstop. Honestly, I think this is really good for him, though. He did commit 4 errors over at third base, so it wasn't like, a 934 fielding percentage is anything spectacular, but a couple videos came out. He's made some really good plays, and you would figure that just his skill set, his athleticism, the fact that the Cubs have that job open right now, third base could be the right fit for him. I mean, the job is there for the taking, right? You got other options. Nick Madrigal, someone that we saw play there. Patrick Wisdom, who is just not good defensively. You talk about a guy who makes you nervous every time the ball's hit to him. I guess he could play some third if you needed him to. Madrigal has been the better defender of everyone, but the bigger upside here is Morel. And so he played some there, and you got to love his his ability to play other positions, that he's a great utility guy. And that's something that Craig Counsell talked about during winter meetings, is that the guy can play a bunch of different positions. And having someone that can jump in and play shortstop is important. I can remember Cubs teams where they didn't have a backup shortstop. Starlin Castro was their shortstop there for a while, and they just didn't have anybody else they could put in that position. if something happened to him. He played a lot of games and a lot of innings at short. That's not an issue anymore with the Cubs. Dansby Swanson, Luis Vazquez, obviously Morel. There's other guys that I'm not even probably thinking of off the top of my head that can slide in and play. But it's the toughest position on the field now that the shift's gone. And so Morel getting a little experience over there. What does this mean? That means that from here on out, get healthy, continue to work. Maybe he goes to Arizona. Maybe part of the plan is to start getting him some reps at first base. You could do that at the complex in Mesa. But for the Cubs to get the most out of the roster they have, Morel has to play a position. And I would say, just me, if I'm Jed Hoyer, if I'm the GM, I would love for him to just grab third base and that be the position. Maybe it's first base, but you're not going to get the middle infield with Dansby and Nico. And he can play outfield, but you got outfield covered too. You got a bunch of options out there. So, maybe here and there, but if everyone's healthy, third base is the place where you would want to see Morel. So his Winter League wrapped up. Bruce Levine, who has a show that comes on 670 The Score, had Scott Boras on as one of his guests yesterday. I really enjoy Inside the Clubhouse with Bruce. I love it and he's got a great partner right now that's on there with him. Those two guys do a really nice job when they let Bruce talk. Sometimes you get on there and they talk too much and you don't get enough Bruce. I want to hear what Bruce has to say. This is one of the best combos, and he's had different partners over the years that the show's had. But I love listening to it, like I know a lot of you guys do on Saturday. And if you haven't checked it out, do it. He had Scott Boras on there. Scott Boras didn't say anything other than, hey, I'm pitching these guys, basically, me paraphrasing, but selling the guys that he has. And he's got a lot of the free agents right now, including Cody Bellinger. I thought that Scott Boras actually did a good job on there. And I think if we've all kind of felt frustrated with the way that the market works, and particularly his impact on the game over the years. But it's worth a listen. You're really not going to get anything out of it. He says he's on the phone 14 hours a day, and I buy it. I definitely buy it. I believe every bit of that, because when you're representing all of these different players, one team may want to talk about Bellinger, and then someone else may want to talk about Hoskins, and then someone else, wants to talk about Snell. I mean, that makes for a lot of talking. So, we'll see what happens. But he did make a good point. He's like, look, the Rangers spent about $500 million on Simeon and Seager, and they won the World Series, So you just want to get your money's worth out of these big time contracts. And I think that's one of the frustrating things as fans that you guys see is these guys make an ungodly amount of money, and then a lot of them are hurt and they never really live up to their contract. And because they're guaranteed, they walk away from it. I don't think anyone has an issue with someone making a lot of money that you want to go watch and see at the ballpark when they play the game the right way and they live out those contracts. And now these contracts are so long, it almost feels like they're set up where they're really never even going to have a chance to live out the contract. Or like Miguel Cabrera last year, it was like having a softball player on the team. I mean, he's like a Hall of Famer and all that, but I mean, he would have never been on the team if they hadn't signed the big contract, and he wasn't someone that's going to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, just his ability to play was gone, even though, by the way, he says he's coming back to play in the Winter League. And I think in Venezuela, one last ride. So hopefully he does well. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. We'll be keeping an eye on everything going on. Plan on this being, a fun week. I know Christmas is coming. I know some of you guys are celebrating Hanukkah. So happy holidays wherever you guys might be hanging out with us and celebrating. Hopefully we can, get something done here before too long and have a lot to talk about. So like and subscribe. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget that our channel is presented by our friend over at Modern Lending, and that is Chad Anderson. He's helped over 10,000 families and businesses. That's like, billions of dollars. when it's all said and done. He's an investment consultant, an Airbnb expert, and a huge Cubs fan, and he can help you. And the channel right now is presented by the Tennessee Smokies, the Cubs AA affiliate. They gave me this, and it's cold right now, and I got it on. You can get your gear, too. They won their first championship in 45 years. SmokiesBaseball.com/store. Right now, it's free shipping. They also have game-worn jerseys, autographs of some of the Cubs' biggest prospects, like Pete Crow Armstrong, Owen Casey, and stuff like that. So check it out for yourself. That's the Smokies team store. And have a great day. We'll talk to you if anything breaks, if not before tomorrow.